So, well done, first of all. What I love about
Thanks.
these pieces is they're remarkably human. You recognise them, especially obviously if you live in London. I think you recognise a lot of these moments and these people.
I didn't sleep during the night properly. I've got things on my mind.
No, I don't think you do anything differently. You just have a generally different outlook. I'm more happy-go-lucky. I don't worry about the future. The future will look after itself.
So, can you tell us first of all how do you find your stories? How do you come across them? It's a bit broad, but
Yeah, well, with both of Platform One and John, it was slightly accidental. I'm really interested in communities, local communities, and so both of them I partnered with local organisations. One is in Bermondsey, that's where John's from, and that was a joint management board, so it's like a housing association, and that's how I found John.
When I met my wife, I went home once about 12 o'clock. I forgot my key. And when my dad was in the morning, he said, "Your keys are here, how'd you get in?" I said, "Lolly stick." My mum said, "Well, what are you worried about? Every lock in this street is from the same lock. Any key fits any house. You used to leave your front door open all day and, you were brought up, you don't touch neighbours' properties, anybody. You don't break into people's houses, you don't take liberties with the neighbours or anything."
And then for Platform One, I applied, I pitched an idea to a community cinema in North London, in and around Enfield. And then they actually agreed for me to make a film and gave me money, but they gave me money for a different film. And then I literally bumped into the lady, Anita, who runs the cafe, and I bumped into her on my way, as I went to meet the funders, I bumped into her on my way back. And from then I was really interested in her cafe and asked if I could film. And she said, "Yeah, that's fine, but you're going to have to get up at 5 a.m. And I said, "Well, I don't live anywhere near here." And she actually allowed me to stay over. And so during the whole process of Platform One, I was like living with a stranger in North London in Palmer's Green. But they were really welcoming and lovely family. So it was a bit accidental and
happy
really
accidents.
Happy accidents and just an interest in local London communities, really.
And are you a born and bred Londoner, or have you moved here, or so do you think has that helped you keep your eyes open for these stories, or?
I mean, people are people. So I'm just interested in the very small, different little interactions between different people. And I'm from a village, so everyone knows everybody, everyone knows everybody's business. And in London, when I first arrived, I thought that wasn't the case. But if you look closer, it's exactly the same. It's just lots of little pockets of villages and communities.
So yeah, I mean, this film, Platform One, you get some remarkably candid moments with people. I mean, is this because they're half asleep still? They feel they're already confiding in you before they realise what they're saying, or how did that come around? Yeah, I mean, how long were you talking to some of these people?
Well, people were coming to get a coffee, so a lot of people just leave less than 5 minutes before they get their coffee, and some of them just, they run straight onto the train. The coffee's there waiting for them. They grab it. They're off. So I had less than 5 minutes talking to everyone. The guy at the end that's talking about love, the barber, the Egyptian barber, he would come every day, and we'd have a conversation every day. But everyone else, although they were locals, most of the conversations were just up front. I think it was the morning. I did one day where I shot the whole length of the cafe opening hours until 2, and people were strangely unfriendly towards the afternoon. Whereas in the morning they were either half asleep and willing to let me stick a camera on them, or if they were willing to talk, then they were really open, surprisingly open. So, but I guess I disarmed them with my charm. I just asked them how they were today and what was on their mind, and they just told me.
And that's where the magic came from.
Yeah.
So, are there any questions for Jess at this point? No? Yeah? Okay, fire away.
Yeah. That film in particular, I was really interested in the housing crisis and gentrification. And John is sort of born and bred in the area. He was born there in 1936, I think. And so the whole film is just focusing, I guess, on, in particular, social kind of council housing and how people are kind of getting forced out the area. And so his children can't actually live in their area where they grew up. And he's really worried, in particular, about his son that's going to have to leave. So that one in particular was to do with the housing crisis. And John's very vocal about that. But he doesn't mind the newcomers. Like, he's happy to welcome people into the area. He just obviously doesn't want his family to get pushed out.
And are you still in contact with any of your subjects, any of the people that you've made these films with? What's happening with John now? What's his story? How's it continued?
John's still living there. They've actually, he's taken up the right to buy, so he's actually just bought his council house for his son. And John's actually getting famous. I don't know whether they saw people through my film, but he got featured in a film about Winston Churchill that I think, was it Jeremy Paxman interviewed him? So John's doing pretty well for himself. And so's Anita. I'm still in touch with Anita, who runs the cafe, because her family was so welcoming to me, so I'm still in touch with her daughter as well. Yeah, I try and keep up the relationships with most of the people in my films, because, as you can see, I guess it gets quite intense, and I sort of befriend everyone. So, yeah, I'm still in touch with them. And if anyone's interested in gentrification in Bermondsey, Leather Market, which is actually part of John, I did lots of other interviews to make a slightly bigger short film. That's screening at the East End Film Festival on the 5th of July. So if you're interested,
plug in there.
Come along.
Yeah, which is also another great film which everyone should check out. How long did you spend on the platform then? And which station was it actually? I was just trying to figure it out for myself, but I'm not much of a North Londoner, so.
It's Palmer's Green.
It is Palmer's Green.
So it's in Enfield.
And how long did you spend there? How many days? I mean, how many interviews do you think? How many days did you cull down to get to that point?
That was 5 days filming. I did sort of 2 stints of different mornings at different times, but eventually covered a week, so that I was filming every day, because you get different commuters Monday to Friday, different moods as well. People are grumpier, obviously, on a Monday. So I just wanted to make sure I had all that.
Excellent. Have we got any more questions for Jess? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for screening your work. We look forward to seeing it more. Tell us and you've just come back from Sheffield Doc Fest as well.
Yep.
Tell us very quickly how that went and what you were doing there.
It's great fun. I was screening Leather Market and a short film, Sharon, that's about a female priest and her kind of calling to the priesthood. So it was good fun.
And give us that date again for the East End London Film Festival.
Sunday the 5th of July.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Give a round of applause.